In this session, I'm just going to do a quick tour of the new brush pack available on AdvancedTshirts.com with over 400 brushes that I set up specifically for CorelDRAW. These are all organized into folders. We'll be going through a lot of these brushes in the tutorial sessions where we learn how to really cut loose in graphic design with brushes and create really hot looks and effects for our designs. You know, we've seen a lot of success with the Fashion Factory, and this brush pack really is the complement to the Fashion Factory. And bringing those two together is going to really empower you to do some really incredible designs pretty easily. Once you understand how the brushes work and you've got the brush pack, you can go through and create virtually unlimited design elements based on the type of looks that are popular today. The affliction looks, the mixed martial arts MMA looks, the type of looks we're seeing at a lot of the retail shops where people are paying $60, $70, $80 for the t-shirts. Between the brushes and working with the Fashion Factory, you'll be able to set up these designs very easily. There's a lot of benefits to working with brushes, and to be honest with you, when I started working on this brush pack, I thought, well, I'll make some brushes. But then as I really started digging into it, I found that understanding how these brushes work and having these 400 brushes at my fingertips literally exponentially increased the quality and the speed with which I'm able to create really insane off-the-wall designs, and you'll see that in this series. We'll learn how to create upselling comps with our brushes and add very easy brush effects to designs, but yet these effects or these elements are very cool and create really nice looking designs. We can upgrade and update designs and add all kinds of effects to text and do all kinds of different things, and we'll cover all of that in the training. But in this particular brush pack with over 400 brushes, we've got abstract shape particles, ancient text, arrow flows, barbed wire, beveled shape, chiseled stone, etc., going on right on down the list, and we'll take a look at some of these brushes, and you can see the types of designs we're able to set up with these really quickly, really easily, working with these brushes. Really cool looks, really cool effects. Here I've got a hand-drawn wing look going on with some skulls and some barbed wire and a tweak of the Advanced Artist logo. And here's the actual design we set up when we were doing the introduction here. We've got the thorns going on in between the feathers, etc. Now, in the tutorials, I'm going to keep it kind of simple. But once you get through the tutorials, you'll be able to set up designs like these fairly easily and fairly quickly, working with Draw and the brush pack. And what I'll do is here, actually I'm just going to go ahead and open up a new page, and I'll bring in one of my skulls there from the original graphic here. I'll bring in, perhaps I'll bring this guy in here, and we'll see if that's the whole skull. It is. Copy that, and we'll just have a skull to work with while we're working in this new document, going through the brushes, just some type of object other than a brush while we're looking at the different brushes. Go ahead and resize that skull, and I'll go ahead, I'm going to work with my, again, this pen tablet while I'm looking at these strokes here, but go here and we'll start with our abstract shape particles, and we'll go ahead and just lay out a few brushes here, a few strokes here. We're still on Thorns from the earlier session, but these are just particle brushes that we can use to create different particle elements or effects in our designs, as you can see here. Now, once I've got one of these particle brushes set up, I can very simply use it to come off my graphics or different design elements to create some really cool different looks. And here I'm just kind of working off maybe a hair look or some type of graphic look coming off of these skulls here, as you can see here, very easily, very quickly. And I can also take these and go work around the outside and create ornamental looks and things like that. So that's our particle abstracts. Once those are set up, I could actually go through here and start changing these out and create different looks very quickly and very easily, depending on the brushes that I'm working with, as you can see there. And we can change these out and create new looks. And if I want to go through and add some more to this, I can do that right there with my particle abstracts. Now, I'm working very quickly because we're doing a tour of the brushes, but you can see the type of effects I'm able to create very quickly and very easily with these brushes. Next thing we want to look at is, after that, is our ancient text. And I can use my ancient text. Let's see, I'm doing a fashion type design here in Corel's processing and save here. I can go into my ancient text and grab some ancient text and drop that into a design. We're seeing a lot of this ancient text in your affliction and different type of designs like that. And I could grab some ancient text and drop that into my design. We'll go order to back of page and set that up in our design here, and we can create a couple of different ones here. We'll copy here and bring some ancient text over here also, and we can change that right in here. Now, zoom in and take a look, we can see that this is just some lettering that's kind of distressed and grunged and ancient or vintage in setup. So that's our ancient text. And the next set is our arrow flows. Kind of cool, we can work with those. And I'll go ahead and create a brush here and we'll take a look at those. And these, change the size of this here. And we just do different arrow effects with these. And I'll just bring an arrow flow down around the skull here. Like that there. And then we can go ahead and bring this one here. And then we'll do another one here. Coming up this way here. And I can start to build off that arrow flows going in different directions. Now, I can go into different, again, with my arrow flows, I can go in and change these. Set up different flows or effects. Some will work, some won't. And get different looks depending upon the type of design that I'm working with, as you can see there. So those are our arrow flows. Our next set of brushes is our barbed wire. Great brushes, I use these a lot. Got a whole bunch of them in here. Nice barbed wire effect if you want to add that to a design. Something like that there. I can go ahead and delete these, and let's say I wanted to go and give my skull some barbed wire hair, give them like a barbed wire dreadlock look here. I can do that very easily. And come in through here and bring some effect in there, and some down in there, and then we could just come right through here, and very easily and very quickly just create insane effects and looks working with these brushes. That's our barbed wire. Go ahead and delete all of that. And our next set of brushes after barbed wire is Beveled Shapes, one of my favorites. I can create some really off-the-wall looks with this too. Let's say I want to create some graphic wings like we did in the last session there. I could do that also, or I can create an entirely different look with those shapes based on, and this is barbed wire, but I'll change this to my Beveled Shapes here. Different looks, and as you can see there's some look there with that, and there's a different look here with this one. Kind of going down instead of up. Probably want to delete that. Come through down here and grab something like this. Come up this way, and then go ahead and change our brushes. And we can start to create some really cool effects building off of our beveled shapes. I could bring another shape in here, another shape in there, and then bring that over here and then build wings off of it or do whatever I wanted working with my beveled shapes. That's Beveled Shapes, and then the next thing is we'll go into our next pack here, which is Chiseled Stone. Really cool stuff here too. I'll create a brush here, come in here, let's see if we're going the right direction or not, and we are. Creating Chiseled Stone. Looks like something that's been chiseled out of granite. Got a nice effect going on in there with it. You can see it's all cracked, etc. and ready to set up. Now that brush is a little bit bigger than what it should be, so I'm going to bring that down in size. Something like that, and then we'll go ahead and change that to one of these other brushes here, and you can see I could take this skull and then start to add these chiseled stone effects to different areas of the design with different looks here, and then I could change those based on maybe I wanted a different look, something like that, or something like maybe this one here. And this brush we can go and take and stretch that right out, etc. So that's our Chiseled Stone. Got about 10 of those. I'll go ahead and select all of this and delete it. After Chiseled Stone we have Destroyed brushes, which are basically artistic brushes, and we can create different looks with these also. Actually grab one of these here and just come in here and start to change the size of that, bring that down in size. And you can see it's just kind of like a destroyed artistic brush, but we can create some really cool looks with these also and different effects for our graphics with these at the same time. Now, working off of something like this, I'd probably want to go change that to change all these to a white, and then go ahead and get a black background here and set that up, send that to the back of my design. Then I could come in and just create a really off-the-wall look for my skull and change these to white as I'm working on them. Go ahead and delete that. There's about 25 of those. We can get some really different looks with these, and take something like this here, like this one down here, totally different look, totally different brushes, and we can create some really off-the-wall looks with these, as you can see there. So that's our Destroyed brushes, and I want to go ahead and delete all of this here, and we'll get rid of this square here. And after destroyed brushes, we have one of my personal favorites, which is destroyed watercolor. Once again, we can create some really insane looks and effects with the destroyed watercolor. Now these come in as blue, but we can change these to a black or a white or what have you. Coming off of a black background, again we'll send this to the back, and we can change these brushes and get very different looks with them. Change those to white, bring this up this way, and you can see I could go through and create some really crazy effects with these also very easily. And we use these a lot in the tutorials because these are really good brushes for creating a nice artistic look or effect with our designs. Go ahead and delete that background. I want to go back into, after destroyed watercolor, we have diamonds. These are basic shape flows, and we use these a lot when we're doing different types of urban looks or different looks for different things, but these are diamonds, and we can change the size of this. And I'll bring this down here to right about there. Once again, if I wanted to do something with the diamonds and this skull, I could do that pretty easily and set up some pretty interesting elements for my design very quickly. The benefit of brushes really is you're not static like clip art. You can do a whole bunch of different things that you can't do with clip art. So if you've got a whole bunch of clip art, download the brushes and add them to your arsenal, and you'll be able to create some really off-the-wall effects and designs. After the diamonds, we've got feathered wings. Now here I spent a lot of time and a lot of work. We've got all different kinds of feathers set up in here. I can go into my blacks, and we'll come down here to, let's say, this one here, and let's say I wanted to start creating a custom wing to come off of my skull. I can do that just like this, and as we've seen in the other tutorials and other sessions, very powerful pack for setting up wing designs. I'm going to go ahead and create another set of size here of smaller wings, and we'll bring these up in this way, and you can see I can just create literally unlimited wing design looks with this particular set of brushes. Now once this is set up, I can go right into my wings, and I can go into another wings folder, for instance hand drawn, select that and change all of this to a hand drawn wing look literally with just a click. It'll take Corel a minute to process that. I want to change the size of these, and that is, I went way down, way too small there. 0.75 should be good. And that is our hand-drawn feathers. Zoom in, take a look at the detail in these. All set up in vector. Great for doing effects with after you set them up. After our feathers and wings, and by the way, there's approximately, I think there's like 91 different wing or feather setups in there that you can work with to create your fashion designs and effects. After our feathered wings, we come down here to ink effects. And ink effects is really nothing more than just lines for inking, like these skulls and things like that, as you can see there. Now, this I could still create some effects with this, and we can bring this in this way, and that way, and this way, and bring in another one this way. Different brushes for different looks, different effects. And we'll go ahead and delete, actually I'll go ahead and select these, and we'll change these to a different ink brush here. And we'll go here. You can see that's a very different look there. If I want to change the shape of this, just double click here, bring this over here more, bring that, and start creating like a hair look for my skeleton here. We can tweak this up this way, bring that way, etc. So you can see here's your inked brushes for inking. And we'll go ahead and delete that, and we'll delete this. The next thing I want to take a look at is over 400 brushes, so it's kind of hard to move through here quickly. We've got some brushes here that have been set up as ink blots, and effects. I believe that's what we've got here, yep. And these are just set up as kind of loose inky brushes with splotches and blotches and things like that for doing your distressed look or your blotchy, spotty, splatty looks. Go ahead and delete this. I'm going to go ahead and take a brush here, make it just a little bit smaller. And once again, we can start designing different looks very easily here now. In the tutorials, I show you how to do all kinds of different things with these relating to design, but I just wanted to take a quick browse through these 400 brushes here during the training session here. After that, we've got linear, which is another set of brushes, which you can do some different things with that also. Here's linear, and that's kind of straight lines there. And you can create different looks with these based on, and you can see that's kind of a V linear, but you can take that and you could create some hair look with that also, or create design effects with it, etc. Now I'm just working with the skull with this. Obviously in the training sessions you'll see all the different things we can do with these different brushes, but we can set up all kinds of different stuff with these. Now this is set up at 0.6. I'm going to make this quite a bit bigger and see how I could create an effect with this that might be building off of the skull, something that might go into the background of the design, as you can see there, to offset that, and then maybe some wings will come up off of that. So that's our linear brushes. Go ahead, select and delete all of those. Next set of brushes is, after linear, we have my strokes. That's actually from the training. Rips and tears, powerful brushes. You could actually make this skull look like it's tearing out of the t-shirt with rips and tears. I want to go ahead and close this, and I'll grab one of my rips and tear brushes here. And if I wanted to, I could take and you see I could make this look like this skull's tearing out this way or something like that. I'll come up here into one of my other tears, maybe this one here, and make it look like this skull is coming out of a tear in the t-shirt itself. Let's say this is actually torn here. You can go ahead and right click on this. I'll select break artistic media group apart. Go ahead and delete that. I can take this here, which is the black center of this brush. I want to ungroup all and take this skull, just bring it over here and select power clip inside, and then I can come here and go to edit contents, and we can bring this over this way, and you'll see that very quickly I was able to set this up. It looks like this skull's behind a tear. Finish editing this level, it looks like the skull's in behind a tear yet. And you can create a lot of really cool effects with these tear brushes also. I'll hit Control Z, and we'll go back here to before we did our power clip. We'll go ahead and delete that tear. Our next brush after the tears, we've got about 10 of those tear brushes in there, is we come down here, we've got shape nibs, and these I use just for basic illustration tasks, such as shaping. That's still on tears, but you can see it bring this brush size down. And these are just kind of like inking brushes I can use to do inking with. So if I wanted to really add some detailed hair, go ahead and delete this to my skull, and I'll bring that back to this brush here. I could do that working with these brushes and just go in and draw some hair in there. Now you don't need to be hand-eye coordinator to know how to use a pen. You can do this with a mouse, and we'll show you that in the tutorials. Next thing I want to take a look at is, after our shaping nibs, we want to take a look at soft airbrush, one of my favorites right here, and we got some really cool effects we can make with this. And this will go this way. I'm going to change the size of that brush, and this we can make some really cool flame effects or some really soft effects that make this skull look like he's got smoke coming off of him or something like that. And once again, these are all vectors, so you can change the color on them really easy. Change that. Let's say I want to make that a red, and there I've got a red set up. These are your soft airbrush brushes. Next thing we want to take a look at is, and we've got about 30 of those, a whole bunch of different ones, squared. And the squared brushes do different square effects, and I'll go ahead and set this up this way. And we'll just bring some effects off of here. Control Z, bring this down that way. Maybe I want to put my skull with a checkered background. Something like that. Hold down Shift, click here, right click, order to back of page. Kind of different look there. Grab a different square look here. Something like that, kind of broken up, different squared up brushes. And you can use these to create different effects also. I mean, you can come through and just kind of set up different stuff, especially doing like your NASCAR and your automotive stuff. You can do some really crazy stuff with these. Go ahead and delete all of that. There's your squares. And the next thing we want to take a look at after squared is Thorns, another great set of brushes. Go ahead and create a brush here. Click on a thorn. We get about 25 of these. Nice thorn looks. We can create some really crazy thorn type looks. I'll give the skull some thorn hair this time and bring that all out this way here and get a really cool look. Let's say I want to go and get something going on like a wreath of thorns around the side of the design, I can do that very easily. So there's our thorns. I've got about 25 of those. Different looks, different setups, of course, for different types of designs. Go ahead and delete all of this here. Taking us a few minutes to go through all these different brushes, but there's a lot of them here. I want to get into, after thorns, we'll go into tribal. I'm going to make a tribal design. I'll go ahead and set up some tribal graphics here to go along the side here. And I can get some really different looks with this tribal, as you can see there, and I can come back in this way and start to create some off-the-wall tribal type designs with tribal look in them, as you can see there. And that might be one that I want to use over here, and we can go ahead and delete this, and I might want to come over the brush over here, create another tribal segment there, hit Control Z. Didn't really like that either, so what I had to do is go ahead and mirror this direction wise. We'll copy here, and then I'll just go ahead and mirror this. You can see I can bring this over this way, and that's a cool tribal look. I could go build out all kinds of effects with brushes around that. That's our tribal. After the tribal, we have tri-line, which is a set of line effects. Also, as you can see here, that you can create kind of like distorted line effects that are set out as as wide dashes, etc. And after tri-line, finally we have, last but not least, warped abstract, my personal favorite. I love some of the effects you can make with these brushes. I'll come in here and I'll grab, to start out, this here, and we'll just create an effect here. And you can see these are really off the wall. You can create some really off the wall abstract effects, looks, and backgrounds with these. A lot of different brushes to work with here, and this one's a really strong, powerful effect here. I'm going to go ahead and work with this one here. Delete that. Go ahead and grab this here, and I'll just bring some of this up off of the head of my skull here. And I'm starting to create a really insane look for this guy right here with this brush. And I can also do all kinds of different things with this brush that just makes some really insane effects and looks for my designs as far as elements are concerned. So go ahead and wrap here. That's all of the different brushes. Once again, that's over 400 brushes we've set up specifically for CorelDRAW. You can buy that and download that on the site today and actually work with that, work along with us as we go through the training with the brush pack from AdvancedTshirts.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next session.